Well, first winter we lived in a tent, and we had over 85 inches of snow, and it was one of the coldest winter we've been here. So the whole lake froze up that year, and the local people said that's the first time we ever seen the lake froze up. So that's how cold it was. At the coast, you never sleep in a tent, so a tent was something different. At the coast, it was altogether different, because you had everything indoor. Your plumbing, your bathroom, all that was all indoor. It was fun, but mind you, it was pretty cold too.
Japanese culture is all through our area, and our generation needs to know how that came to be.
Canada has definitely been influenced by the Japanese internment. The fact that we took on a lot of their customs.
We now have the Kohan Garden and the Nikkei Center to remember the Japanese that were interned here.
I don't think the Japanese internment was fair at all because the Japanese were treated as enemy aliens. I found it really sad hearing about a lot of the elderly people's stories. It was really sad to know what they had to go through. It's really cool to learn about what happened to the Japanese. It's nice to know the history of Canada, and the Japanese are definitely part of our history.
Every community has a history, stories that make it unique and set it apart from other places. Let us take you back and share with you our past. After the attack on Pearl Harbor during World War II, 22,000 Japanese Canadians were forced to register themselves as enemy aliens, 1,400 of which were then sent to the internment camp in New Denver. Most of their possessions were taken from them, and many families were split up. Although times were hard, New Denver became a sanctuary for many, and they were able to re-establish the lives that were taken from them. Within New Denver, a strong community was forged, a community that till this day still relies heavily on one another.
I suppose it was beautiful here in New Denver when we first arrived, but we were so busy trying to figure out what we were going to do next, we just couldn't see it. There were so many, and we were strangers, and everything was happening to us so fast. We didn't know from one day to the next. It would be good if we could somehow let children know how important freedom is and how fast it can be taken away. It can happen that quickly. That's the way it was for us. It happened so fast.
The following is quoted from John M. Ewan on a CBC interview from May 25, 1944. What I am setting out to discuss tonight is the problem of the Japanese in Canada. So long as the Japanese live closely together, and aside from the mainstream of Canadian life, their traditions will endure. They will look to Japan for their ideas. Japan will be their spiritual home. Now all this is not compatible with Canadian citizenship. These are the actual facts of the case, and from them one is compelled to infer that the assimilation of Japanese into our Canadian stock is quite out of the question.
Well, we were kids, and we were wondering what's going to happen, where we're going to get sent. Everybody was wondering where they're going to get sent, because the government wasn't too sure where we were going to all get sent, see. When you came here, you had no water, no electricity, no bathroom, anything like that. We had to go down to the lake and pack your water to where you were living at. It was hard for the person that weren't used to all these chores you had to do. The largest one was in Tashmi. They call it Hope there, and they didn't like the name Hope. You know, you have your hopes up high. Oh, it was fun, but for older ones, I guess it wasn't quite funny.
So it was also a really difficult time.
Yeah, see, we were kids, so we just loved it, you know. But we all survived.
行動するだけでなく、夢を見ることです。計画するだけでなく、夢を信じることです。
This public Japanese-style garden was established to honor the many Canadian citizens of Japanese heritage who were forcibly resettled to the BC interior in 1942. The garden was conceived in 1988 by the Slocan Lake Garden Society. The garden was designed by Mr. Roy Sumi Vancouver at the age of 87. He contributed rare plants from his own garden to the center that are carefully tended by volunteers.